Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is Groundhog Day. I don't celebrate that holiday, but some people do.
Isn't this the Beyond Bitcoin show? Is this my first Beyond Bitcoin?
That's what I was going to explain. It is February the 2nd, 2019, and because it's Groundhog Day, we're going to have the Beyond Bitcoin show tomorrow because Maximo from Venezuela is going to be a special guest on the Beyond Bitcoin show. We're going to talk about Venezuela tomorrow on the Beyond Bitcoin show. But today I decided we're going to have something different. We're going to have a special One Bitcoin show about a new crypto dividend of Bitcoin. And Andy is going to be talking about it in a second. Now, I've done this before. I was the one who came up with the term crypto dividend back in 2017. I knew these forks and airdrops would reward Bitcoin holders, would make our hands even stronger. 29-inch pythons like Hulk Hogan, or he had 24-inch pythons. But seriously, I debuted B Gold on this show back in, I guess it was October. And personally, I don't see much of a difference in terms of B Gold was not threatening to Bitcoin. It wasn't trying to be the next Bitcoin. This coin debuting today, it's not trying to be the next Bitcoin. It's just a unique way of distributing this Mimblewimble technology. Now, this Mimblewimble stuff, it's like, I keep hearing about it. It's like the altcoin flavor of the month. Beam and Grin and Beam and Grin. I don't want to buy this stuff. I don't want to buy Beam and Grin. But, you're curious about this privacy stuff. So Chris, contacted me a little while ago. He said, I have this idea to make my own MimbleWimbleCoin and give it as an airdrop to Bitcoin holders. I'm like, dude, that is a freaking awesome idea. That is an awesome crypto dividend. I mean, that is, you got all sorts of crypto dividend gimmicks out there. You have, it's relative, the forking of Bitcoin. It's hard to claim these forks, the B Diamond, the Super Bitcoin. It's dangerous. You have to worry about your private key. With these airdrops, there's no private key. And let's see what this airdrop brings us. Andy, take it away. I've talked too long.
Right. Well, when you talk about airdrops, and absolutely, yes, back in 2017, you're talking about. I don't even remember 2017, but I certainly remember when I contacted you worried about Bcash, and you said no, it's a crypto dividend, and then the next thing you knew, you said, oh, I got a great idea. And you put out a special show where you introduced the term crypto dividend, and you couldn't have been more right about it. And as far as the early ones, yes, in the beginning you had Bcash and B Gold, which were they were forked off, and the exchanges didn't understand their legal liabilities, so they figured we have to give it to everyone. So everyone from Coinbase eventually to Trezor and Ledger all split it off for you. But after that, they realized, why are we doing this? It's just a waste of our resources. And then, of course, all the forks became ridiculous because they were impossible to claim unless you were a technological expert. And of course, they weren't worth that much. Then when B-Rodium came around a year ago and did an airdrop, and it's not the first airdrop, there were airdrops before. In fact, you told me about the BitCore one, which I did back in, I think it was like October of 2017. It was a small amount of money, but it showed you that you could do that you could actually use your public keys to claim another cryptocurrency, that you don't have to split or have an exchange or a wallet do it for you. And when B-Rodium did it, it was the first time that it was the distribution of a coin, just saying, look, instead of forking it off of Bitcoin, we'll create our own blockchain and just give it to Bitcoin holders, since they understand crypto the most, and they're most likely to be holders of it. It was a brilliant idea, and it went successfully. And when it happened, I was writing, I said, look, this is the future of crypto dividends. There's not going to be any more. First of all, forking Bitcoin doesn't work because everyone just looks at them as clones, which is what they all are. And second of all, because of these other issues with splitting them in the private keys, and no one's going to even want to deal with them. I guess unless there's a raging bull market again, but we haven't had that in a while. So hence I said the airdrop is the future of crypto dividends. And in this case, we'll talk about MimbleWimbleCoin in a second. And it's actually probably the first crypto dividend to be an airdrop to Bitcoin holders that really has nothing to do with Bitcoin at all. I mean, you could say B-Rodium is trying to be its own entity, but it is related to Bitcoin. Mimblewimble is a completely different thing. It's a new technology and privacy that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It can eventually be used by Bitcoin or maybe compete with Bitcoin, but it has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It was just determined by Chris that it was the smartest way to start a coin and make it a good financial investment to simply give it to Bitcoin holders. So again, even though this coin really has very little to do with Bitcoin per se, it was deemed the smartest way to distribute it. And yes, as you say, just holding Bitcoin, you're going to get this fantastic crypto dividend, which I believe very strongly in.
Yeah, it is the apex. We Bitcoin holders are the apex predator of holders. So why not get rewarded? We do what you want when you get these crypto dividends. It's your choice. I get more Bitcoin when I get it. But some people are talking about this privacy, this new Mimble is the best thing on earth. Well, then if they think it's the best thing on earth, then they can play around with it if they want to. Okay, but instead of some people are like, well, you got to go buy Grin, or you got to go buy Beam. Why buy this technology when you can get this technology for free? And then you can decide what you're going to do with the technology. Of course, I am into, increasing my Bitcoin stash all the time, valuing my wealth in Bitcoin. Pound that like button, people. And I also want to point out that, I do enjoy, that Chris came to me with his idea. And then I was just like, well, you got to contact X, Y, and Z that you got in touch with him because of me, and Shane also. I just like the in motionness behind this. You can, during a down market, people can sit around and cry and say and call everything a scam, and if they want to, or they could be in motion and try to better themselves. And I encourage anyone that's watching this right now, check out this site. I mean, if you want to help them out, go help them out. I'm sure there's like a contact. What's the URL? I got it. Everything's linked to below, people. By the way, everything is linked to below if you want to get in touch with these guys. MWC.MW. But again, since this is the altcoin flavor of the month, and a lot of people get angry at the altcoin flavors of the month. Well, this is a way to test the altcoin. This is a way for Bitcoin holders to get in on this altcoin flavor of the month and see, and maybe this is the best version of that altcoin flavor of the month. Bitcoin is still Bitcoin, people. Bitcoin is the apex predator. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Is this crypto dividend the best Mimblewimble coin of all time? Who knows? We're getting it for free though, so we'll see.
Right, and there's so many topics here. It's a good thing I do actually have the time to talk about them, and I want to start first with what you're talking about proactivity, and that's been the hallmark of my career. I've worked in multiple industries that have had huge boom and bust cycles. And the key is to escape the boom cycles, intact, and to spend the bear cycles working hard to build your brand, to build your future, and look for opportunities. So, when people want to attack me, how could you have sold your Bitcoin, or how could you talk about Berodium or MimbleWimbleCoin? It's because I'm being proactive, and I think that there's a lot of aspects of the world, of the crypto world, to explore, and I also have my own personal financial situation to consider, and so it has nothing to do with whether I'm trying to go against or with the tide. I'm just trying to see all the opportunities in front of me and be proactive, and that's the only way you can do things, particularly during bear markets. And yeah.
And I want to add, if you don't like that Andy sold his Bitcoin, if you're offended by that selling, then you got to take personal responsibility. Don't sell your Bitcoin then if you're so strict. And that's what I did. I didn't sell my Bitcoin, and get your crypto dividends and then turn them into more Bitcoin. So everybody's happy then. You can hate on someone for selling their Bitcoin, or you can take steps to get yourself more Bitcoin. It's like, if you're not taking steps to get yourself more Bitcoin, and then you're just ragging on people who sold their Bitcoin, then I don't know what you're all about. It's nitpickery. That's like a hobby on Twitter, I guess. Nitpickery.
And the other thing is, I ask questions. I talked about the Hoffman line. I made a stand, which really was more financial than it had to do with a political decision. And I also I'm obviously very deeply into the crypto community. I've dedicated my career to it. There will probably be a time where I will want to be back into Bitcoin. At the moment, I'm just, there are other things that I've prioritized. And, I believe more than anything, atop everything else, that crypto is the future of finance, and not just the future of store of value, but the future pretty much of maybe of the business world, of how it's run. I'm very excited about it, and that's why I'm constantly looking for new things. Now, when it comes to like Crypto Gold Central, when I started it in late 2000, in September of 2017, it was a blog, and it did very well until the market crashed, and all of a sudden, no one wanted to pay for content anymore. So I looked for other things to do, and I found that my skill set lent to consulting. The problem was that there's very few projects out there that are worth consulting to. People, they say, well, you're an altcoin pumper. I'm going, no, I'm not. I mean, I've had tons of opportunities to do it. I don't believe in much of anything. The only one I've spent any time on has been B-Rhodium, which was not a client. It was because I got it for free, and I got it because of you, because you told me about it, and developed a belief in it after a year of working, with them and watching what they did. As for this particular one, the one thing that I do know in this space is privacy has been an issue on the tip of everyone's tongue for a long time. In Bitcoin's particular case, it's been on the back burner because scaling has been more important. In fact, I remember the first interview I had on my, my show on World Crypto Network way back when was Charlie Lee, and I asked him that question, and he said, "Yes, of course, privacy is important, but scaling is more important." That was just when SegWit went in, and now I see Litecoin is going to be experimenting with confidential transactions, which is it's another privacy thing. It's not Mimblewimble, but the point is, privacy is going to become a bigger deal because obviously you see the whole world, the status quo doesn't like Bitcoin, and they challenge it, and the KYC and the governments, and so of course privacy is going to become more valuable. And even in this terrible crypto bear market, it's pretty clear that privacy is surfacing as a big deal. Mimblewimble is a technology that, I think way back over a year ago, I remember being on the crypto network and listening, and they constantly were talking about it. So obviously it was something that was in the works, and now it's commercial. And the thing with Mimblewimble is it really can't be incorporated into Bitcoin without a hard fork. And we know that pretty much it's unlikely there'll ever be a hard fork again. So one, it has to develop because it's just now become a commercial technology that, that's why Beam and Grin were just launched and why we're doing MimbleWimbleCoin. And, it'll take time to develop and see how it works. And then if it does, once Bitcoin gets through all its scaling things, then there's going to be, can we create side chains to put Mimblewimble on? So it's a whole long process. It's going to take years. But the fact is, Mimblewimble is here. And Beam and Grin just launched in the last month or so. So yes, it's exciting. And what happened with Chris Gilliard, who's our lead developer, I just heard an echo.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Sounds good here. I know what you're saying about Chris. Chris is the lead developer, and
hold on, I'm hearing an echo somewhere else.
Well, I'll keep on talking. I want to ask you,
yes.
Now that this is the flavor of the month, everyone's trying to do a Mimblewimble. Have you heard about this Grin and Grimble? They have. I linked to them below too. They're like forks of. They're forks also of one of them of Beam or something. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's that?
It's just weird. No, I'm listening. I'm listening in the background. It's like I'm hearing you talking. You just said I linked to them below too. Like it's almost like I'm hearing what you said before.
Yeah,
so
you probably do. You have another window open with this show? That's
what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Let me just look because I have so many. I've never had this before. All of a sudden, I just turned off my Outlook completely, and I hear about Bitcoin and everything.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep talking and tell everybody to pound that freaking like button.
Yeah. Okay. Let me answer your question. So, and I'll try to do this without the echo. Chris Gilliard realized that Beam and Grin came out. Grin is it's almost like the Bitcoin. It's like the anonymously created code that has no company behind it. The problem is that it's not really it has unlimited supply, and so people looked at that and said, well, it's a great protocol, but it's not really going to be something people want to hold. And at the same time, you had Beam come out, which is a completely corporate coin, which will have 263 million supply cap. So it's a huge supply cap, and it also has all the centralized management. I mean, there's a CEO and everything. So it's almost like they call it the Ripple of Mimblewimble. And then what you're talking about is, so the whole crypto community saw this and realized, look, people want, if they want to participate in this Mimblewimble experiment in privacy, they would like to do it with a coin that they consider to be financially stable and doesn't have these inflation or corporate issues. So all of a sudden you saw a rush of people coming out with their versions of the coin. Now, I think our version, and I'll talk about Grin and Beam that what I've seen to them. One of them is forked off of Grin, so it has nothing to do with Bitcoin holders. One of them has unlimited supply, also somewhere around 50 million coins, and has kind of no marketing at all. So I really don't. I'm not sure that I think that people consider them to be better alternatives. Certainly now that people are looking really as, for financial, they want to not just see the protocol, but they want to see the potential financial gains.
So I want to ask, let's get into real specifics about this thing.
And we have to do some, Adam, I can't talk anymore. I hear there's an echo of what the show was like 5 minutes ago. So either we have to start over.
Or take your headphones off. Just take your headphones off.
Let's see if that works. Hold on.
That might work.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I still hear it in the background though. I can hear what the show was like 5 minutes ago in the background, so I can't figure out what it is, and I'm trying to talk over it, but I hear what we were just talking about 1 minute ago.
Yeah, you must have another window open somewhere.
I don't. Well, look, I'll go into what we were doing. I can work around it. I
can ask you.
Yes.
Just to tell me, how many are there going to be, and what is the day of the airdrop?
Okay. There's going to be 20 million will be the total supply, and it will be proof of work. So it will take a long, long time. I have to ask Chris how long. I'm guessing it's going to be something of a Bitcoin schedule. So it'll take a long, long time to get there. 10% of the supply will be public relations and marketing and development, because we need to market the coin and grow the coin. We already have a full team of devs that are going to be working on it. Essentially, again, it's going to be a fork of Grin, except it's going to create this supply table, the supply limitation of 20 million. And on top of that, we're going to have a crypto dividend. And again, it's, we have the experience with B-Rodium with what they did with the Strong Hands program. I think it's a great idea to save a portion of the supply for people who hold the coin. And it's an incentive to not sell the coin. And I think it not only limits the supply, but it also gives you the potential of a dividend, a crypto dividend on a crypto dividend, as you would say. So limited supply, a free airdrop to Bitcoin holders. Again, this coin has nothing to do with Bitcoin itself. It's just viewed as the smartest way to distribute it, and the safest way, and the best way to put it in the hands of people who understand crypto. And if you just hold on to it, you'll get a crypto dividend. We're not sure exactly what that will be. We have to decide what the schedule of the crypto dividend is. But, I think that this is going to be a real financialized version of Mimblewimble. And again, Mimblewimble is an experiment. We're going to talk about in a second what Mimblewimble is competing with. But it's an experiment that's going to take time. It could blossom into something massive, or it could be something that is definitely in the background, but it's not going away. It is the future of privacy.
Is it still echoing?
It is, but with the headphones off, it's a lot easier to manage.
Okay, because I was going to say, what you can do is you can just end this session and just click on the link that I sent you on Twitter again, and maybe it'll be better. You know what I mean?
You want me to do that?
Yeah, you just do that. I'll talk while you're gone. So just go back to Twitter and click on that thing again. Maybe it'll be better, and I'll just talk. All right, so while Andy's gone, I'll just remind everybody, unconfiscatable, strong hand, long-term thinking. All right, so check out their link below. So it's got a lot of information. I think what he said, there's only going to be 20 million of them ever. And I believe the first day you can sign up is 4/20, actually, is April the 20th is what it says on that site. Now, I did ask Chris before the show, and I'm glad I asked him this before the show, but someone asked, is there any KYC? And no, there isn't any you just, Chris says, just signing the transaction and a password that you set. We only store the encrypted password and the address it's associated with. So yeah, you don't give these dudes any of your personal information when you're signing or anything like that. You don't need to give them an email address or anything. So you can anonymously claim your crypto dividend, which is good. And again, that's why I'm bringing you guys this show. And maybe it is great privacy. Who knows? But it's something that obviously is in the news right now. This Mimblewimble stuff is the flavor of the month. And if we Bitcoin holders, the apex predator of holders, the elite holders of the world, if we can get this stuff for free, then I'm not, and safely for free. And that's what airdrops are about. It's about claiming it safely. I'm all for it. I mean, think of it this way. If you were at your bank, if your bank told you you had $100,000 in your bank and they said, well, hey, guess what, dude? In April, we're going to give you 100,000 Norwegian krona. Would you just start crying and say, no, it's a scam, Norwegian krona. I don't know what to do with Norwegian. No, you'd get the Norwegian krona and you'd figure out a way to turn it into dollars. And then a few months in August, if you got Uruguayan pesos, 100,000 Uruguayan pesos, then you would figure out a way to turn that into dollars. I mean, you wouldn't complain if you're getting free money. Okay. Andy, are you there?
Yes.
So how's it sound?
I figured out what was wrong. It's all good.
Good. You see, that was a great idea. And somebody in the chat gave me that. I think it was you Sagami gave me that idea, by the way. I noticed that in the chat out of the corner of my eye. Thank you, dudes, for helping make this show go even smoother. Now there's no echo or anything like that. Yeah, I just shared that, just signing up, there's no KYC when signing up for this thing. And that again, I enjoy the fact that when I get free, safe altcoins, I don't complain. I just figure out a way to get more Bitcoin. So continue what you were saying. You were talking about Chris at one point. I forgot what that was even about.
Yeah, no, I was saying that Chris, he realized he was he wasn't the only person to realize this, because obviously you have these Grimbles and BitGrins, but he rapidly realized that there's a better way of proposing this experiment to investors. And I think he had is by far the best way, because the Bitcoin airdrop combined with the crypto dividend, and of course we have a team. It's not a matter of centralized team. It's going to be a fork of Grin, which has open source code. So it's not a centralized coin per se. It's just one where a team is creating a new cryptocurrency that will be proof of work mined by the crypto community. And in this case, it's going to be, to me, the one that's going to be the one with the most financial incentive to invest in. But the reason that Mimblewimble, what it's doing, because most people don't understand what it exactly is, and some think it's competing with Bitcoin. Or the fact is, it's a privacy protocol, and it's a superior privacy protocol to what's out there. It's real. I mean, yes, its main competitors are Beam and Grin and BitGrin and Grimble. But the bigger thing, all of us are Beam and Grin. We're competing with the current privacy coins. We're competing with Monero, with Zcash, and the current protocols, which we think are, this is why Mimblewimble's been talked about. It's superior technology. The blockchains are much, much more scalable. The technology is probably more private. In fact, in Zcash's case, it's really barely used at all for all the talk about it. It's really just Bitcoin with an option of privacy that almost no one uses. And so I think that really it's going to be Monero and Zcash and the other privacy coins of the last wave that we as Mimblewimble are going to be usurping. Now, in time, it remains to be seen how privacy is added to Bitcoin, because it can't be forked. It can't just subsume Mimblewimble. It'll have to do it with complex sidechain technology, but that'll take time, and that's not really a concern. If you're investing in a Mimblewimble coin, it's because you believe it's going to be the biggest privacy protocol of the future.
Now, I want to say something here. Good luck in competing in the privacy space. If I'm getting an altcoin, if I'm getting a friendly fork or a friendly airdrop for free. Remember, it's friendly toward Bitcoin. And I've said this before about B-Gold and other ones. As a holder of Bitcoin, I want what I'm getting for free to be second to Bitcoin. Good luck. Beat Monero, beat Zcash. If I'm getting it for free, I would love it. It would be great. I think all logical holders of Bitcoin, if you're logical here, if you want more Bitcoin, you want your crypto dividends, all of them, to be the #2 cryptocurrency on earth. Because as a true holder of Bitcoin, a true strong hand, a true holder of last resort, you know Bitcoin ain't nothing going to happen to Bitcoin at the top, but you know the ones below, you don't know what the order is going to be.
You got your free Be Private, and your free you'll get this free Mimblewimble coin. So theoretically, you have one of the old wave of privacy coins and one of the new wave for holding your Bitcoin. It's not even a judgment of which will be better, although I know what I believe. But the fact is, like you're saying, if you just hold your Bitcoin, and you could claim your Be Private, it wasn't easy, and you do claim this, you will have, your stake in the game. Just like as much as you hate Bcash, if you kept your Bcash, well, then you'd get that, and you'd get your Satoshi's vision. So you're getting all chances to see what will win.
Yeah, something I wanted to add to that about well, here, Vention Migtal said, I want to say this real quick, because he sent $5 in the super chat. He says, Lightning Network adds ton of privacy to Bitcoin transactions. The wallet of Satoshi is an amazing service. So fast and so cheap to use. Awesome. I mean, yeah, keep on working on the Lightning Network. That's what, hey, if that's the way Bitcoin's going to get its privacy, then that is awesome. If there's some other thing Bitcoin can incorporate to get its privacy, whether it be Charlie Lee experimenting on Litecoin, whether it be this Mimblewimble stuff, then great. Everyone should keep on trying to do their own thing. I think the more competition, the better out there. Let the best man win. Let the best features be added to Bitcoin. And just because people are getting free crypto dividends doesn't mean that they don't support the Lightning Network too. I mean, you can do everything out there. It's a free world, and just try to get more Bitcoin is what I always say. And
the Lightning Network, from what I'm told, could eventually be put on Mimblewimble too. It's two completely different things. And yes, the Lightning Network has a privacy function, but this, I think, Mimblewimble is more focusing solely on privacy. I mean, I don't think anyone's saying that Mimblewimble is going to become the new cryptocurrency of the world. It is definitely a superior privacy function, and there's going to be a greater need for privacy coins in time. Now, how will it get onto Bitcoin? It may be Mimblewimble that gets onto Bitcoin, but like you said, there are many different spaces. There are many different aspects of the digital age, and that's the one thing that that's always bothered me about the Bitcoin maximalism, when people don't realize that if you're going to have a digital age where Bitcoin is the king, whether you believe that or not, which most people in the space rightfully believe right now, because there's nothing that's competing with it, you're going to have all kinds of technological innovation. You're also going to have all kinds of different uses for cryptocurrency that aren't just transactions and store of value. And that's why it's very exciting, like in the internet world, to see all the different innovations going on, some of which will be huge winners from an investment standpoint, which, let's face it, is why 99% of the people are here. It's just a different risk reward profile. Obviously, if you were investing in Mimblewimble coin, you are investing in something that's a lot more speculative than Bitcoin itself. But if you're getting it for free as a Bitcoin holder and being paid a dividend to hold it, it behooves you to learn about it, and of course to learn about its competitors.
I want to point out something to all the yentas and nitpickers out there, because we got Andy on here. It was quite a while ago that he put on his Twitter profile that you were consulting altcoins, that's how you're gonna create a business around that, that's your personal business. So people are a little shocked, like, well, he was talking about one altcoin yesterday, why is he talking about a new one today? I mean, you're still down, you still have your B Rhodium, right? I mean, you could start if another crypto dividend, if another altcoin comes along, I mean, it's your personal business. You can support them in another day too.
Yeah, I think about this. Like, first of all, I worked for years. I worked as a precious metal mining consultant. I did actually work for some companies as the head of investor relations and corporate development. But then I worked as a company called Torrey Hills Capital, and our job was to market precious metal mining companies, junior ones, and also some oil companies and other ones. Companies would come to us and say, we need help in marketing. I mean, it's a business model. It's not exactly secret or rocket science. This is a well-needed business. in the world of stocks. Now, in my particular case, for one, like I said, people stop paying for the blog. I mean, people don't pay for anything, content anymore. In fact, very few people even write content anymore. Few people are even podcasting anymore. You're one of the few people who's consistent, and I'm one of the last people who writes anything. And so it's funny, people like, they want me to just do whatever. They want me to just keep writing and writing and writing for free. And not only that, I have to write what they want me to say, and it has to be Bitcoin maximalism, or else they're angry at me. And what I simply determined was, look, I mean, I was already doing consulting. I was consulting with clients about Bitcoin. I was helping them with Trezors. I helped them get B-Rhodium. I mean, I helped them get Bitcore, helped them do all kinds of things. And I said, look, the future of this sector is going to be diverse. I'm not sure what is going to happen next, but I'm going to create a business model in which I'm open to all kinds of opportunities. And by the way, this whole time, I was holding Bitcoin. I mean, I didn't sell my Bitcoin until the Hoffman line broke in November. So I created that cryptocurrency consulting thing in May, and for 6 months I was still doing a show every week talking about Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. All I have is Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. But then I made a financial decision when that level broke. I need to protect myself. I'm 48 years old. I got a family, and I'm not going to lose my gains. What if Tone Vays is right and it goes to 1,300? I don't have enough time to wait like some younger people do. And I may get back into it. So again, this is just the way that I thought about life. It's not a matter of whether I like or hate Bitcoin. But at the same time, I ask questions, and I see different opportunities. And B-Rhodium was a case where I got it for free, and I spent time focusing on it and realized that it was a good situation that I believed in. The fact that the whole crypto sector sucks right now is not helping it or anything, but I believe in it. And in this particular case, because of you, I came to come across Chris, and I've been hearing about Mimblewimble forever, and I see Beam and Grin have been doing very well when they launched, and I thought it was something that I think could help people. And again, right now, all I'm doing is helping people to get it for free.
And that's why I got you on the show. I mean, I am not an altcoin consultant. I can be friends with an altcoin consultant. Can I, people? Is that allowed still? And Andy made a very good point. He put that altcoin consultant thing on his Twitter feed a long time ago, and no one said a darn thing about it until he actually started talking about altcoins. Now, again, you don't have to agree with him. You don't have to agree with him. And I don't agree with Andy on everything. I held my Bitcoin. And, we're in different situations or whatever. But yeah, so, I mean, you can... There's good ways of going about this, people. We can share different opinions. Not everyone's there's not a strict orthodoxy to cryptocurrency. Okay, there's not a strict orthodoxy. I think what I advise people is be a Bitcoin firster. Try to get more Bitcoin. I mean, that's my simple message. It doesn't prevent me from being friends with people who are altcoin consultants or who think Ethereum's good, or think, I'm friends with Lorian Gamaroff. He thinks SV is good. I mean, you can get some different opinions. There's not everyone's Satan on the other side.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, yeah, Adam?
Sure.
Completely off topic, since you bring that up. And I know that Lorian was actually a very big Bcash supporter for a while, which
yes,
I still have trouble philosophically understanding why anyone would support Bcash, because after all this time, I think it's relatively obvious to most people that it doesn't do anything. But when it comes to Satoshi's vision, he's the first person I've heard of, aside from Craig Wright and his partner Calvin, who have said anything about Satoshi's vision. What is Satoshi's vision? What is that?
Well, I can tell you the simple reason why Lorian's a part of it. Craig Wright funds his company. I mean, it's not a hidden thing. It's not.
I didn't know that. I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what Craig Wright funds Lorian's. It's public knowledge. It's out there and everything. So I mean, it's nothing. He stuck with that when it split. That's who he stuck with. His guy. I mean, I think he believes in it too. That that it needs the biggest blocks or whatever Craig preaches. That's what Lorian believes, that Bitcoin should be spendable now. It should be now, and that's why he stuck with the Bcash. And then when Bcash split, he stuck with the SV.
You could spend Bitcoin now. I mean, no one's stopping you.
But I mean, you know, at the time, I mean, he doesn't care about the store value aspects very much of it. And I don't want to put words into Lorian's mouth, but I'm saying what's out there on the public record and everything. I mean,
Okay.
Cent B wallet is funded by one of Craig Wright's companies. So that is, but again,
I just bring it up. I just bring it up because it's pretty obvious that the Satoshi's vision fork / movement had a very, very detrimental impact on the space that still is around now. And I would say that most people, myself included, are still trying to figure out several months later what exactly this is. Yeah, I mean, to say, well, not big blocks, but much bigger blocks is going to solve the problem. I think most people are looking at it going, really, that doesn't make any logical sense after all we've been through with the block scaling debate. I just don't get it.
There are some people who really believe in that. They're strong and they're free to go their own way, and they're free to believe. You know, I haven't heard much about it lately. And
exactly.
You know, at the time that it happened it was in November. I can remember it very well. Obviously, I mean, that wasn't good for the space. I think it was a temporary. I know you really thought it was a very big thing. No, it's not as big anymore. I think we've moved on from that, definitely. But I don't even hear about it anymore. I mean, I don't even.
Well, no. What I thought was, again, my initial thought was, look, if it was big enough to cause this much carnage, maybe there's something here that I'm missing. I don't see it. I mean, I look at it and I go, I don't get it. But it did cause all this carnage. So let me think about it. But here we are, 2 months later, and I look at it and I go, to me, it looks like they just forked off a Bcash and didn't do anything. So I no longer believe that I could have been missing something.
It was crypto noise. It was definitely and he was very good. Craig Wright, for a time, was very good at making some scary sounding crypto noise. But and then he's got people that like him. I mean, there's a guy here in Israel, Alex, that I met. He does some work for them and stuff. So I mean, there's some people that they're going to believe what they're going to believe, and not everyone is. I mean, Craig Wright, I wouldn't say he's a good addition to the space at all. I don't really see how anyone can think that he's brought up positives to the space, but he's here. This is where the big boys play. We can deal with it, and we don't have to. If we don't like him, then we just ignore him, and that's what I do.
Look, as we know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, especially in crypto, because it's trying to usurp the status quo. And when I say crypto, I don't just mean Bitcoin. I mean the whole space is trying to move in on the legacy financial space. So obviously, if it can't shake off the Roger Veres and the Craig Wrights, and obviously it wasn't destined to be. And of course, these two people and others aren't going to be enough to stop the space. It's just a matter of, I was just curious because that particular one was just so shocking. And again, at least with Bcash, when it happened, there was an understanding of what the debate was. Like, okay, big blocks versus small blocks, could SegWit work? Can it be stopped here? It was like, okay, I don't get it. So some crazy guy says, I hate Bitcoin and I want bigger blocks. And somehow I didn't get it. All right.
Let's move back. I want to move to this here.
Yes.
You've got any plans for this thing to be on exchanges? People want to know how to sell it. And have you learned, since you're clearly you are close to the B Rhodium people, and I think you just answered the question. You still are. Have you learned things from that airdrop experience that you're going to apply to this airdrop experience? Right. I mean, and specifically the exchanges, I guess.
Right. And it's obviously, it's not just the airdrop experience. It's the experience of watching a new coin be developed in an honest way, because there's so many that weren't, especially all those ERC tokens, which were literally created in minutes. I mean, it was just like true pump and dumps. But what people don't understand is when you have an effort that takes a tremendous amount of work by a tremendous amount of people. I mean, man hours that are invested with the hope that your product will eventually go up in value. You're not being paid to do it. And I watched that in B Rhodium. I watched this team build and put all of their personal money inside and personal time, and you get to know their intentions. And it's and you also get to know the nuances of what needs to be done to build the blockchain, to speak to the exchanges, to deal with the investors, to deal with all the different constituents, the miners, the mining pool. So I learned a lot from that experience of all the things that go into developing a new coin. And then of course you have the market dynamics. what like a crypto bear market versus a bull market. So that is certainly going to help me. We also brought over somebody from B Rhodium who also has that kind of experience. And then, of course, we brought in Shane, who's on your show, Shane Smith, who's fantastic. He knows he's probably, for someone who is an expert in the graphics, and marketing of graphics, he knows as much about crypto as anyone in that whole space. So we have this team, and we also have a team of developers led by Chris Gilliard, who are, I haven't met them all yet. I know their credentials, and I certainly know Chris's, who are going to build this code so that it's perfect and make the airdrop perfect and flawless and seamless for Bitcoin investors. And basically what's going to happen is, again, you go to our website, you link to it there. Like you said, it's, what is it? MWC. I got to get it right here.
Yeah, I got it up here.
MWC.MW. It's the MimbleWimbleCoin, MWC. It's one word, MimbleWimbleCoin. And basically what's going to happen is on April 20th, we will open the registration process. It's going to be very much like B Rhodium. The difference here will be, though, in that one, I don't think it was initially, the instructions were not very clear to people. And it was a new process. The only one I had seen before it was BitCore, which very few people had even seen. So in this case, everyone is going to see it. I'm going to be here talking about it. The instructions will be easy, and you'll have 3 months to do it. It'll be April 20th until our goal is going to be July 19th, which is the 3-year anniversary of the Mimblewimble white paper being uploaded. Again, it was anonymous, pseudonymous, kind of like the Bitcoin one. And that's when our plan will be to have the snapshot, meaning if you've registered your public Bitcoin addresses, and it's really easy. It'll be the same thing as B Rhodium. You sign your messages with your Trezor or the various different kind of wallets, and we'll give you all the heads up to what wallets you can and can't do. It'll probably be most that you can. You'll sign your messages. And everyone will be aware. I'll make everyone aware of change addresses, which is a major issue because you may think that you have, let's say, 50 Bitcoin on the addresses on your Trezor, and then you look up and you only have 30 because they moved to change addresses. So you may want to move your Bitcoin to single addresses so that you don't screw this up. I mean, all that stuff will be out there, and you'll have 3 months between April 20th and July 19th to register your public addresses. July 19th will be a snapshot, in which case we'll look at all the addresses that have been registered, and we will award the Bitcoin accordingly. Of the 20 million MWC coins that will ever be in existence, 30% of them will be allocated to this airdrop. And we will make sure that all 30% is awarded. It won't be like B Rhodium where some of it wasn't claimed because people screwed it up or they didn't hear about it. It will get claimed, I'm sure of it. And we will make sure that 30% of the float is given to Bitcoin holders who register. And then at some point, in the future, later in this year, we will have it registered on exchanges so that you can trade it readily. And again, it'll be safe. Everyone will have it in their wallet. We'll have different options for wallets, but it'll be safe and it won't have to be split. And we will also seek potentially big investors that will make it a more valuable coin and make the process of getting it more valuable and more easy to exchange quicker. We don't know what'll happen, but we have all kinds of plans. We have a big team working to make this the best financialized version of the Mimblewimble protocol.
Well, I got to say, just for me, the big thing is the web page already looks great. If that claiming process is easier than than BitCore, than B Rhodium, then it'll be great. Just make it as easy as possible. And you just explain some of the things that can go wrong, with the change addresses and everything. If that's all explained beforehand, then people are going to be real happy. They're going to come to it. They're going to sign up for it, and they're going to get it for free. And
let me explain that a little more now, because again, as I talk about I talked about how airdrops are the future of crypto dividends. And again, like for instance, I see Richard Hart is doing the same thing. I'm not a fan of Richard Hart, as you know, I've made it clear, but the fact is he's doing the same thing. He's doing this Bitcoin Hex, which is an airdrop. It has nothing to do with Mimblewimble. It's just something different. So the point is that I think people are starting to realize that an airdrop is a wise thing to do if you want to distribute a coin to the right people. And people need to understand that change addresses, look them up, is a big deal. So if there are going to be a lot of airdrops coming forward, look into this issue. of making sure that you do have all your Bitcoin on the addresses you think you do. Someone like Rocky Palumbo, by the way, would be a perfect person to consult, splitting service at yahoo.com, because he can tell you all these things, and he's a professional in the safety of wallets.
Yeah, I want to add, Rocky and Daniel also in Mexico, who's friends with Rocky. You guys can ask them questions. They do great consultations. Give a shout out. Again, these are people that are in motion. And you know what? I got to say this again. I admire people who are in motion, okay, who actually just don't sit there and complain. Because again, I see in the chat a few people are like, they're screaming scam, this, that, and the other. Again, if you don't want to get something for free that you could turn into Bitcoin, then I don't get it, dudes. I thought we were here to get to value our wealth in Bitcoin.
And that's
I thought we were here to, and again, and I want to add another thing. It's very easy for people to curse and to yell on the internet. It's very easy. But let me tell you something that's not easy. To meet these people in person, to shake a man's hand and look him in the eye. I've done that with Andy Hoffman. I've done that with Shane in person, and I've done that with Chris in person, okay? They are real men. They are real people. And, they're trying to help people out here. Do they agree with everything all you guys say? No, but they don't go screaming and crying on the internet. They're willing to meet people in person, meet me in person, be my personal friend, and then I hook them all up. That's what life is about. You meet people in real life, you shake their hands, you see who's a real man, and you can talk to them like a man, see the differences, and then you connect, and opportunities arise. And do they 100% agree with you all the time? No, they don't 100% agree with you all the time. But who's a good person. Who's a real person. These people on the internet who just go around on Twitter screaming and crying, they will never meet you in person. They are nitpickers. They are not in motion, and they're going to be in the same place that they were 4 years ago, 4 years ahead. And I mean, whatever, it's personal responsibility, people. You can be a nitpicker or you can be in person. You can live on the internet or you can live in real life. I live in real life, and I have met, and again, I met Lauren Gameroff, and he's an honest person too. I mean, it's real easy for people to sit there on the internet and curse with their vile, dirty mouths about all these people they've never met. It's a lot different actually meeting them, looking them in the eye, looking 6'2" Shane in the eye and shaking his hand, saying he's a real good guy. Saying these real people here. And so continue.
And I'll add to that too. That by the way, you can meet internet people over the internet without meeting them in person and get to know them and have a strong opinion of them either way. I've met some of the best people I know without ever meeting them because of the beauty of social media. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's just shameful, all the talk about the word scam and people who use it to make money, to call everything a scam, and everyone that's trying to create a new idea, it's a shit coin or it's a pump and dump. Absolutely ridiculous. People are experimenting, not just in crypto, in every aspect of the business world, looking for opportunities. And by the way, in the crypto community, it's not so easy these days because of this horrifying bear market that has consumed everything from Bitcoin down to number 2,500 on the CMC scale. We are all in this trying to make a better world, particularly for ourselves, but in many cases for others as well. For instance, if Rhodium or if MimbleWimbleCoin succeed, they were free airdrops. They will help a lot of people for free. And we are working very hard for free in the hope of getting things done, just like you are doing your show for free. You may get a couple of $5, in the super chat, but I mean, the amount of time that you are putting into something that is really just helping no one but other people. It's not helping you. But again, by doing this, you do network over time, sometimes in person, sometimes over the internet. And it does ultimately help you to be in motion even during bad times. And God forbid, say something that's different from what everyone else is saying.
And I want to say that part of the reason that there is sometimes this bitter feeling on social media is because people are not long-term thinkers and they have not been in this for that long. They see that the fiat numbers are down. So they're in very bad moods and they're just very reactionary, very emotional. And what I've tried to say on the show over and over again, just be patient with this, people. Be patient. It's going to work out. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. But there are a lot of people that are very disappointed in decisions that they made, that they personally made. So they anonymously on the internet take out their anger at themselves for their personal decisions on other people. They scapegoat. And you know how I hate scapegoating people. You know how I hate that. Don't go around blaming other people for your own problems and taking out your anger on other people. It is just not productive. Be in motion. But again, I see why a lot of the name calling has increased in the last year is because the market is bad. And I guess that is human nature. But what I'm trying to remind everyone of here is like, don't think right away that everyone's got horrible, bad intentions that are against you. If you made a mistake in the past, move on from the mistake. Try to be in motion. Try to learn more. Try to acquire more Bitcoin. Try to go in a positive direction. And again, Andy, you made a good point. Yeah, you can get to know people over the internet. But again, what I'm describing are the anonymous people that don't use their real names or their real faces in the comment sections, in the chats, on the Twitter, that just get their jollies out of crypto noise and out of just doom and gloom. And it's just a certain percentage of the population is always going to be like that, I guess. But they become much louder now. And my point in bringing this all up is that, people can be in motion in a lot of different ways. At least they're in motion. At least they're not screaming there, complaining and blaming others for the problems. They're trying to improve themselves, get more Bitcoin any way they can. And again, some people trade, and I don't like trading. I say, hey, just have a strong hand, hold on your Bitcoin. But I mean, I'm not going to call them scammers. I'm not going to say they're the worst thing in the world and anonymously attack them on Twitter. Everyone's got a different way of going about things. I guess try to be respectful. People try to understand.
And the thing with me is, like, when people say, and I say people, again, 99% of the people have always given me good feedback. It's always the vocal people, the ones who are angriest about the world. They get vocal and then they make it seem like, the world's against you. But I have been as honest and upfront with everything I've done from my whole career. I mean, I've been a public figure for 20 years. I worked on Wall Street. I have a CFA. I was a big player in the oil business, and then the gold business, and the mining business, and the Bitcoin business. I mean, I've been around, and anyone who knows me knows that I have put my money where my mouth is in everything I've done, whether it was the mining stocks or gold bullion or Bitcoin or B-Rhodium. And in this case, it's not that I'm worried so much about my reputation per se, but there's no way that I would spend the amount of time I'm going to spend with the Mimblewimble coin if I didn't believe strongly in it. And even if someone says, well, you're going to be, paid by them in coin. Okay, I'm going to be paid by them in a coin, which is not worth anything now. And if it's going to be worth anything, it won't be until 6 months from now. I'm going to work my butt off to spread the word about this project, which I believe very, very strongly in. I believe in the people. I believe that Mimblewimble technology is a big deal. And I also believe that this particular implementation is one that investors are going to flock to versus the other ones. And by the way, it's going to be given for free for all the proactive Bitcoin people who go to get it. So again, everything I put my time, my effort, and my money behind everything I've ever been public about. So I assure you, the amount of time and effort and money that goes into this from my end is going to be backing up the words that I say. There's nothing idle about what I'm saying. I am investing in this.
I want to add, Casso 20%er says, relax. You want this coin, you claim it. If you don't want it, do nothing. Pound that like button, dude. It is that simple. You don't want this coin, do nothing. If you want the coin, claim it. There you go. It's free. And I also want to add something here. Andy has been marketing his whole life. He's been in the marketing. I've been in the marketing. I mean, that was my major in college, actually. The United States of America, I have traveled all around the world, produces the best marketers on earth. It's just the way it is. And so many people around the world are kind of like, they're not familiar with marketing. They have no idea how to market. So some people kind of get offended by marketing. Then we have in this space, I have said it for a long time, it needs a lot of marketing. Tech guys are just not the best marketing guys. But then there's some tech guys that are just like, they're offended by marketing. And it's very strange. I have said this, I'm not changed my tune on this. Like, we need more marketers in the Bitcoin space. We need more marketers in the crypto space. You shouldn't be offended by marketing. The word has to be spread somehow. So, hey, if you are a marketing person, you're watching this, you've got all the opportunity in the world in the Bitcoin space. So many of these projects, whether they be built on Bitcoin, around Bitcoin, I mean, the company they need marketing people. They really do. So
it's a problem that alternative industries have always had. Obviously, I worked in gold for 15 years, and it's the same thing. Yes, there are a handful of talented people, and it's a big enough asset class that, yes, there were a few professional marketers, but generally speaking, it was a cottage industry. All the real marketing is in the legacy assets. It's all in the stock market and real estate markets and the bond markets, and it needs to come over here if this is going to be the future. It's not just going to be, well, Bitcoin is great. It's going to be, it has to be, the word has to be spread in a professional manner. I think I've done that. I think you do that, but there's very few people like Trace Mayer do that, Max Kaiser do, but there's not a heck of a lot of it, and there will need to be more.
I want to bring up something about Trace Mayer. On the famous show in November, right before I left Santiago, I had Trace on my show. He was on fire. Some people thought he was intoxicated. He wasn't. He was just on fire. And he was talking about all the different ways of, or his fancy way of storing Bitcoin. And a lot of people started panicking. But what people forgot, he was talking about, he kept on saying personal responsibility. It's your personal responsibility to get the forks. And he even mentioned, there was a new fork lately. I think it was B interest or something like that. So the reason I bring this up is because while everyone's talking about this orthodoxy of Bitcoin, when some people out there are like, oh, forks are scams, this is a scam. Trace was claiming all these things. Trace is probably a freaking billionaire when it goes. We don't know how many Bitcoin the dude has. I mean, he's very private about how many he has. But if it goes back up to $20,000, he's probably a billionaire, okay? He probably is a billionaire. And he is a guy who goes, and again, I don't advise everyone do this. He's claiming every single fork out there, okay? And that's not him legitimizing them, saying that they're the next Bitcoin. He's just trying to get more Bitcoin. He said that a lot. He said, well, why did Bitcoin go down to 3,000? I'll get more Bitcoin. That's the attitude I like right there that Trace had. Just get more Bitcoin. He's already a very wealthy man, and he's claiming all the forks. Do I know if he's doing the airdrops? I have no idea. I would have to think, since he's got the mentality, and since he does find out about these things somehow, who knows? Maybe he is. But there's a lot of guys that out there that are just like, you can't even mention B Gold. You can't even, oh my God, you mentioned B Gold. That's the end. I mean, it started even back then. People were in a better mood when B Gold came out.
You know what? There was this big wave in the beginning of them, and of course we all did our best. We all got B Gold and we all got B Cash. We pretty much shied away from the rest, unless you were someone like Rocky Palumbo or Trace Mayer, who has a real knowledge of Bitcoin wallets. And by the way, they quickly became worth very little. They weren't worth doing. But what I'm seeing now is this innovation, despite, we're down at the lows in this bear market, but the innovation is increasing. And now all of a sudden there's these airdrops are coming, out of nowhere. There's a bunch of them, and there's going to be a bunch more. So you'd be pretty dumb not to spend your time learning about them. And by the way, maybe you might wind up thinking that what they're doing is good. You may want to hold some of these things. You might actually think there's something good about MimbleWimbleCoin. I mean, if it's house money, right? If you're getting it for free, but that's your decision. You could do whatever you want. You could turn it into Bitcoin, or you could speculate. But again, there's a whole range of investor types. Everyone is not a Bitcoin type. Some people like to speculate in higher risk reward things. It's that simple. There's a whole range of investors, and it's your choice. And if you're getting it for free, you have all kinds of options of what you're going to do.
I want to read something else from the chat here. This is from Top Roller. He says, we're nearing the bottom, boys. Strong hands. Hodl. I said hodl. Look, what you get until the bull market. Some of this free stuff will zoom higher. No one knows which airdrops will be awesome. Okay. Yeah, you know what? We might be nearing the bottom, but and that it might be a lot longer. So what I'm saying is, people out there, don't worry about when the bottom's coming. Try to, do some positive things now. People are always asking, how can I get more Bitcoin? How can I earn more Bitcoin? Well, here you go. Airdrop right here. You get, and again, I'm not encouraging any other airdrop. I just be careful when you do these things and everything. And someone also asked, how do I do this airdrop? Again, it is linked. It's Andy explained it, but maybe you missed it at the beginning. You just sign up on the site. The site is linked to below.
Well, yeah, listen, we just literally launched the project. We didn't launch the coin. We launched the project yesterday. And basically that's just saying, I mean, read my article, read, well, the article's up on the website now, on the MimbleWimbleCoin website, which is linked there below. It's also, you know, we have a Twitter handle now, MimbleWimbleC, or at MimbleWimbleC. So, and you'll get all this information. The point is the registration is going to start April 20th. So you'll have roughly between April 20th and July 19th. And of course, I'm going to be very visible talking about this. So don't you worry. You will know when the time comes exactly what to do. And it's going to be very easy. It'll be even easier than Bitcoin Rhodium, because anything that was done wrong there will be improved on to the point where it should be as easy as pie. You just have to understand your change address issue and to maximize the amount of MWC coin that you get.
Okay, so yeah, so there's opportunities out there again, and again, these guys might need more people on their team. Maybe you have a good idea. Hey, and if you have a good idea that has nothing to do with this, you can contact me. I love people in motion. Just today, someone contacted me about some hardware wallet ideas he had nothing to do with this. And you know, I'm always open to hear and getting in motion people in touch with each other. I like to connect people that are in motion, and obviously, I don't like to deal with people who anonymously have foul mouths on Twitter. That I'm not a fan of. But again, you could be a fan of that and just not be in motion, or you could be like me and be a fan of people who are in motion. But again, people don't, just because people are saying, oh, the bottom is near, the bottom is near. Don't you know, in the long term, Bitcoin, hey, it's great, dudes. So if you need a distraction, though, if you do need a distraction and you need some positive reinforcement, then figure out some more ways to get more Bitcoin, because you don't want to get distracted. Like, you don't want to like place your hopes on like, oh yes, I know the bottom is coming in April. And then when it doesn't come, you get very disappointed. So if you need distractions, I mean, look into these the crypto dividends and stuff, or look into be a marketing person. I don't know. I'm throwing a lot of different things out here today. It is sort of a beyond Bitcoin show type of day, I guess. But anyway, let's see. We're nearing the hour mark. I want to see if I had any questions. I mean, I'm glad you guys are getting in. I'm glad that, you know, I always am screaming about these altcoin flavor of the months. IOTA, it was one of them. You know, it would have been hilarious if during that IOTA craze, if someone would have airdropped IOTAs, or they could have called them AOTAs to Bitcoin holders. I think
I will say here though, Adam, in this case, Mimblewimble is not a fad. I mean, this is something that you've heard. It's been talked about for years, because the white paper was out 3 years ago. And it's a incredible technology, because it makes the blockchains much, much smaller. You don't have to validate every transaction ever. And also the privacy, the privacy technology is above and beyond anything that's been seen before. So it's going to be around in crypto for a long, long time. It's not going away. What the question is, you know, how you best profit from it, because that's what people are listening. Do you profit best from MWC coin? Does it eventually get into Bitcoin 10 years from now? There's no way of knowing. But Mimblewimble technology is a big deal that's been long waited, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. I'm really excited that the first official project that I'm officially a part of is Mimblewimble, because I think that it's going to be something that's going to be talked about in crypto community for a long, long time.
Yes, well, it is. I have definitely heard about it talk for a while. At first, they said it was going to be implemented on Bitcoin, but apparently that is too complex. So, why not? Next best thing is just give it out to Bitcoin holders.
It can eventually be implemented as a side chain, just like Lightning Network. I mean, does Segwit, the way that they do these things, it's about scaling Bitcoin with small blocks, right? And it's going to take a long time to do it. And this is possibly one of the ways that it gets done. We'll just see. But right now, you are investing in Mimblewimble technology for free if you claim your airdrop.
Okay. And I want to reiterate to everyone: Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. They're going to be friendly for crypto dividends. They're going to be friendly airdrop crypto dividends. Don't think they're trying to destroy precious Bitcoin, because they're not. They're just, some guys have some ideas. They have an altcoin. They want to distribute it. Why not distribute it to the apex predator of holders, the Bitcoin holder. And again, there's a lot of people out there that are from the traditional finance world, and they're like, well, if I buy this Bitcoin, there's no interest on it. I don't get any dividends on it. Oh, contraire, mon frere, this exists. I remember when B Gold came out, there were like big people on social media with a lot of followers. They had no idea what B Gold was. They didn't understand the concept even. But you boil it down. You can look at it in a very simple way. Let people experiment. If I'm going to profit off of their experiments, then let them do it. Then great. I will profit off of their experiments, and it will be a crypto dividend. It will be rewarding a one-time dividend on me holding on to this stock being Bitcoin. So, there's, again, a lot of people from the traditional markets are like, I can't get interest on Bitcoin, but you, in a way, if you know what you're doing here, you can, whether it's been with B Gold or B Cash or now with these airdrops and stuff. So that's why I coined the term crypto dividend. I was so excited when I figured it out. Like, no, this holding does have its rewards. It really does. And we'll see what happens here. So all of the forks that I've ever claimed or whatever, I hope they went up. That's what I always hope. And I hope for this one too. Again, I'm mentioning this because we can get it for free, and free is free, and then you can get more Bitcoin from it. So Andy, he obviously likes it more than me. He's part of the team and everything. But hey, I let a lot of people share their opinions on this. I don't have to agree 100% with everybody that's on the show. And Andy's a good guy in real life. I have met him, and so it's Chris and Shane, of course. And anyway, dudes, Andy, any closing remarks?
No, just going to, again, thank you, because there's so few people in this space that I truly think are worth listening to, because you keep an open mind and you have a long-term vision. And I look forward to continue in directly and indirectly working with you, because it always seems like whatever I do comes back to you. And I do believe that when we look up, 10 years from now, and we see that the crypto space has exploded, we'll know that it was worth it to be as excited during the bear markets as the bull markets.
Yeah, I look back at some of my old videos from 2015, and I'm very proud of them, because when everybody was down on Bitcoin, I was saying, get 10 right now. It'll cost $4,000. So, I've stuck with the value your wealth in Bitcoin line the entire time. That is how I live my life, truly. I just want to get more Bitcoin. And the other big thing that under my philosophy is personal responsibility is the new counterculture. That today, we live in a world where everybody wants to blame other people, want to scapegoat people for their mistakes, for their shortcomings. We don't have enough people that are just trying to better themselves, that people just don't want to be in motion. They want everything to come to them. And if it doesn't come to them, then they go blame someone else. I think everyone can see I take personal responsibility. I try to better myself. I try to get in touch with people who are doing things, and I try to hook up people who have that same mentality, valuing their wealth in Bitcoin and taking personal responsibility over their lives. So, hey, I'll end it on that positive note there. Thank you for being on the show today, Andy. And hopefully we'll hear more about this, and everything will go, we mentioned dates, April 20th to July, whatever. Hopefully those dates stay good, and we'll have the snapshot in July, and then we'll see what happens. And hopefully you guys will get on some exchanges and people can do what they're going to do. So
awesome.
Again, thanks a lot, Andy. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below. Pound that like and bang that bell button. Someone said strong hand, Adam. Yeah, strong hand, Adam. Once I get those Bitcoins, I do not let go of them. I will say hi to you guys in the chat after this. Click on those squares. See you later. Bye.